This is the Shaver Prep Football Podcast, episode 41, season 2, presented by Aquarius Home Services and brought to you by Truestone Financial, 612 Quarterbacks, and powered by 10K Construction. In just a few minutes, I'll release my 2025 Minnesota All-State football team, 30 players in all, and Oliver West of Minnesota Prep Redzone will be with me in studio to help me break down the team. That is coming up. It's Prep Bowl week in Minnesota high school football. The two best teams in each class will square off on Friday and Saturday of this week at US Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis. The bank was a busy place last weekend for the state semifinals. 14 games in all played over 3 days, and we saw some upsets and thrilling finishes. And maybe at the top of the list, Orono's 18-yard two-point conversion in overtime to beat Marshall 15-14. The Spartans advance to their first ever Prep Bowl. Well, Orono is heading to the Prep Bowl for the first time, and their head coach, Joe McPherson, is relaxing before he has to get back to the football field. He's out deer hunting this weekend, getting a chance to get a break from football. But first of all, congratulations. What a crazy football game on Thursday. And I know you've had a couple of days now to kind of digest what happened. Can you put into words that overtime, that two-point conversion? It's just an incredible set of circumstances that allowed you guys to get that big win over Marshall.
Yeah, it was a crazy game from start to finish. I think we both teams knew going into that game it was going to be a hard-fought battle, and for it to go into overtime was the only fitting way for it to finish. And we go into overtime. We win the toss, which was great. We got the opportunity to go on defense first and know what they were going to do. When we got the ball, we knew we were going to go for two no matter what. Unfortunately, we had to go from the 18 versus the 3. But, it worked out great, and really proud of our boys and how they fought and kept working.
We should explain how this ended up happening. You get a touchdown, so you're down a point, but there was a penalty on the touchdown that moved the two-point conversion from the 3-yard line back to the 18. The play that you called, which was a kind of a fade to the corner, was that the same type of play you might have called if you were at the 3, or how did you guys kind of scramble offensively to say, okay, what's the best play here now?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same play if we would have been from the 3. We would have had something a little bit different. But when we got pushed back to the 18, we were debating kick the PAT or go for it, and we stayed with going for it. We were able to line up. They called a timeout, and we saw a look that we liked. So we ended up switching a little bit what we were going to do, and end up throwing it up to Lincoln. Griffin threw a great throw and put it right in the corner where he needed to, and Lincoln made a great catch.
I don't think it couldn't have dropped into the bucket any better than it did for the two-point conversion. Tell me about the emotion when you saw that happen. Describe the emotion.
I was standing on the sideline looking right down on it. And, as the ball's in the air, I'm like, Lincoln's got a chance. He comes down with it. And the refs from the next game were actually standing in the corner. And you could just see them all put their hands on their face like, oh, my goodness, what just happened? And, I was super excited for Lincoln and Griff and for the whole team. And the whole team went running down there. It was a great moment.
This was a slugfest because you guys ended up rushing 40 times for 24 yards. It's not like your offense was going up and down the field, and same for them as well. I mean, but you expected this, right? I mean, you guys are so close. I mean, the first game was a 13-12 one-point game. You guys are just kind of mirrors of each other a little bit in just physical football teams. I don't think you would have expected anything different, right? I mean, just a slugfest.
Yeah, the first time we played them was exactly the same way. They have some unbelievable athletes on their side. We've got great athletes on our side. Both are fast. Both hit hard. after the game, just talking to all the boys, how physical that game was. Our boys were sore the next day. I'm sure they were as well. But that soreness goes away a little bit when you get to go play for a state championship.
All right. So talk about that. What does it mean to you, to your players, to your community to get the opportunity to play Cass and Manorville for the state championship?
I think first off, it's just a great honor that we get to get there and play for a state championship for the first time in school history. Our kids really have worked their butts off to get to this point. And, they wanted this really bad since June. And, for the community, for Orono football, it's great. And to be able to play Casson, who has, they've taken a tough road as well this year and having to beat Byron in their section and go through Grand Rapids in the state tournament. Both of us, it's just going to be a fun game. And both of us have an opportunity to do something special on Friday. So
are you having any luck out in the fields?
We've seen some this morning. Yeah. We haven't shot anything yet, but having fun. It's a beautiful day today and beautiful weekend, and be able to spend time with my son out hunting is awesome. So
will you start thinking football once you get into the car and heading back?
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And, our coaches are already hard at work. We had film yesterday and they're working hard, and the boys will be watching over the weekend, and we'll get back to work on Monday. So it'll be fun.
Well, congratulations, Joe. What a monster win for your program. You've been here before, but not this far. And so this feels special to get to this point. Orono winning 15-14. Joe, congratulations and good luck against Casson.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. Have a good day.
I'm used to the phrase old man, but when you add the word winter, well, then you're not talking about me. I'm here for Aquarius Home Services, and don't let old man winter freeze you out. Get a furnace tune-up for just $29 so you can keep him out and maybe invite me in. I like warm and cozy, and I know you do too. Schedule your $29 furnace tune-up today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended. Our Talk North Walk the Talk winner is Roman Voss of Jackson County Central. He accounted for 6 touchdowns on Friday, 4 rushing and 2 passing, in leading JCC back to the Class 2A Prep Bowl. The state's top college football recruit led the Huskies to a 38-0 win over Eden Valley Watkins in the state semifinals. I'll have all the Prep Bowl matchups coming up. But first, Roman Voss is actually a big part of my 2025 Talk North All-State football team. All right, welcome back. We're going to release the 2025 Talk North All-State football team in just a minute. Oliver West is here with Minnesota Prep Redzone to help me break down my 30 players that we chose for this season. First of all, thanks for being here. For those that don't know and I find it hard to believe that high school football players, coaches, fans don't know about Prep Redzone, but for those that don't know, why don't you explain a little bit about what you guys do?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Randy. I'm very excited to be here. It's an honor to be on your show. For those that don't know, Prep Redzone is a subscription-based recruiting service in Minnesota. We started as a single state North Star Football News in 2019 when I first came in. We've since expanded to around 40 states. We have over 40,000 subscribers in our network. Minnesota is leading the way there as the network's biggest site. And I've been proud and excited to bring Minnesota high school football fans some top-notch content for the past 5 years. We go to prospect camps, live games, 7-on-7 events, and we're always bringing you underrated studs as well as news and recruiting information on the state's leading recruits.
So who uses the information? Do colleges use some of it? Where does it end up?
Yeah, thanks for asking. We have a large database of college subscribers, especially in the upper Midwest. We have a very strong branch of D2, D1, and D3 subscribers.
Gotcha.
So they read the articles that come out. They look at our rankings once they're updated. But then we also have a lot of parents who subscribe, a lot of general high school football fans, and then the players themselves so they can read the write-ups. So it's a diverse group of subscriptions, but we're really trying to tailor things for college coaches to get Minnesota kids looks.
Well, I'm a subscriber and I love it. So
Thank you, Randy.
Great. All right, so let's do this. We're going to break down the 2025 All-State football team for TalkNorth, and we're going to start with the defensive line. So here's the list, and leading the list is Howie Johnson out of Forest Lake, 6'3", about 290, Gopher commit, set the state record this year for tackles for loss in a career with 108. He had 25 tackles for losses just this season alone. Joining Howie on the list is Sawyer Jezierski out of Edina, an Iowa commit. Great football player. Josh O'Shea, Centennial, 3-year starter, won a state title 3 years ago. Didn't have the greatest stats, but what he did for that defense was you just couldn't discount it because he was so good inside for Centennial. Earl Brown out of Pillager. They had a great football season at Pillager, undefeated in the regular season. Brown is heading to NDSU on scholarship. And Sam McGill out of Albert Lee, 22 tackles for losses, 7 sacks, 96 tackles in all. He played offensive line as well as defensive line and had an outstanding season for a resurgence of football in Albert Lee. So those are the 5 TalkNorth All-State football defensive linemen for this season. Your thoughts on the D-line?
Yeah, Randy, this is an outrageous defensive line group. Led by Howie, who you mentioned just set the state record for TFLs. He is a freak, and we do not see athletes like this coming out of Minnesota very often. I saw him run a sub 5-second 40 at 275 plus pounds at the Gophers camp this summer. He's also got outrageous track throws, 58-10 in the shot put, 174-4 in the discus. He's one of the best throwers in the state and could potentially throw D1 if he wanted to. I also really like your picks of O'Shea and McGill. These are 2 guys that are a little bit under the radar in the state.
Yep.
O'Shea is a really interesting prospect, like you mentioned. He's kind of an enigma. Centennial doesn't update stats. He hasn't updated any of his public film. I don't know a lot about him, but I do know he's a 3-year starter, which is a huge deal at Centennial. Same with McGill. Breakout star this year. Albert Lee, best season in 30 years. A lot of it couldn't be done without McGill. 6'5", 210 at the defensive line spot. He also led the team in tackles with 96, like you mentioned. That's very hard to do from a DN position. All these guys, MN All-Stars, all well-deserved. Like I said, though, Howie Johnson is a special kind of prospect, and we're not going to see someone like him for a long time.
All right, let's move on to the linebacker spot. And I choose 5, and here they are. Ryder Skansen out of Maple Grove, heading to Air Force, 6'2", 215. Blake Benton, I put him at the linebacker spot. You can put him at D-back too. He is probably the most sought-after junior football player in the state of Minnesota. 88 tackles, an interception this year, just has a nose for the football. Max Jones out of Rosemount, a 3-year starter, district player of the year, 90 tackles this season. Rosemount won 1 game a year ago, and this year made it into the state playoffs. They're a fantastic football team, and Max had a big part of that. Kane Thompson led the state in tackles 2 years in a row for International Falls, 147 this year, 34 tackles for losses. And Oliver Spahn at Grand Rapids, this kid had a great season for a team that is into the state semifinals, over 100 tackles, really an outstanding football player. His dad is the head football coach. So he just really led a Grand Rapids defense that took care of business against Hermantown and a great player, Martin Sleen, and so on. So those are the 5 linebackers: Skansen, Benton, Jones, Thompson, and Spahn. Oliver, your thoughts?
Yeah, a couple things. First, love the outstate representation. Kane Thompson has been a tackle machine the past 2 years. Almost 130 tackles 2 years in a row. That's hard to do no matter where you're at and who you're playing against. Spahn is one of 2 coaches' kids on the list, including Blake Benton, who's the son of Shakopee head coach Ray Benton, of course. I think it's easy to say that there's instincts available with coaches' kids. Sure. Instincts in production you usually see a lot of. And then Blake Benton's special, 17 D1 offers, 13 Power 4, including from the Gophers. That's also juxtaposed with Jones, Thompson, and Spahn. Thompson and Spahn haven't reported any offers. I think Thompson might have a River Falls roster spot. And then Max Jones just earned his first 3 offers this season thanks to his play. Like you mentioned, Rosemont was 1-7 last year.
Yeah.
Winning helps your recruiting. He's earned offers from Winona State, Oberlin, and Gustavus all this fall thanks to his play. So a well-deserved honor for Max Jones out of Rosemont.
All right, that's our linebackers. Let's move on to defensive back. And we've got 5. And headlining the list is Braden Dozier out of Maple Grove, shutdown corner, NDSU commit. Deron Russell, fantastic football player, heading to NDSU as well, out of Waseca. Micah Bush out of Hills Beaver Creek, probably the best 9-player in Minnesota, does a lot of everything for Hills Beaver Creek, 6'1", about 190, South Dakota State. And Todd Rogalski, who I love personally, his stats, special teams, and the number of punts he's blocked in his career. He just does everything well for Travis Walsh's defense. The Rogalski name is famous at St. Thomas Academy, and he has carried on that name quite a bit. So 4 defensive backs in all. What your thoughts on the D-backs?
Yeah, this is a superstar group. Need to have some 9-player representation for sure. Bush is electric. He does a little bit of everything for Hills Beaver Creek, who is my 9-man pick for state championship this year. They have a rematch with Fertile, I think on Friday coming up. Dozier, I've done a lot of scouting throughout the entire Midwest. There's an argument that Braden Dozier is the best pure corner in the Midwest. NDSU has said that he has the best hips they've seen in almost 20 years. There's not a lot of DBs in the Midwest that are as comfortable in press man as Braden Dozier is. He also has 7 interceptions in his career. That's playing against 6-man football in 3 years of starting. So this kid's going to come into Fargo ready to go. Deron Russell, electric basketball player. NDSU got a fun one there.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a little bit of the lineage and family ties. Deron's brother Demarius plays at Washington State.
Yep.
Rogalski's brother just transferred from Wake Forest to St. John's. So that'd be a little scary if both of those Rogalskis ended up in Collegeville. I'd be a little scared for my Olies going forward.
Well, it's a great group of defensive backs, and we're going to name the special teams player in this group as well. And that's our kicker this year, Jaden Anawanga out of Forest Lake, a senior, hit 7 of 9 field goals. Longest was from 45 yards out, had 45 touchbacks. And even more impressive for me, he averaged 40 yards per punt. This kid in his first year of football really took over this position. I know Sawyer Riffle's a good football player at Brainerd. There's a lot of really good kickers out there, but Jaden really stood out.
Like you mentioned, Randy, first year playing football, he's also 6'4", 200 pounds.
That's Chip Lohmiller size player. Yeah.
It's still football, even though it's specialist. Size is a big deal. And if you want to talk about upside, physical gifts, athleticism, Jaden has it all. The Forest Lake product is a good soccer player, could probably play at a high level in college there as well. But like you said, 40 yards a punt is pretty ridiculous. That's going to translate to any kind of college room, no matter what. So this kid's oozing with upside. I've also seen him on Twitter kick a 62-yard field goal in practice. So I think it's safe to say that coaches are excited about his potential.
All right, so that's the defense and special teams for our Talk North 2025 All-State football team. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back. We'll name our offense. Stay with us. This episode is brought to you by 612 Quarterbacks, Minnesota's premier quarterback development program. At 612Qs, they're committed to creating a high-quality quarterback development program, both affordable and accessible. Their training goes beyond the basics, not only focusing on proper throwing mechanics and footwork, but also building strong football IQ, leadership, and resilience. Their mission is to educate, inspire, and challenge athletes to raise their standards on the field and in life. Through training and mentorship, they're building more than quarterbacks. They're building a community rooted in growth, accountability, and shared success. Learn more today at 612quarterbacks.com. All right, welcome back. Oliver West from Minnesota Prep Redzone is here. We're going to name the 2025 Talk North All-State Football offensive team now, and we're going to start with the offensive line, and it is a monster offensive line. Here are the 5 players. Andrew Trout out of Ricori, 6'6", about 295, probably 300 plus at this point, averaged 6 pancake blocks per game this year, did not give up a sack. He's heading to the Gophers on scholarship. Ethan Beckman, Prior Lake, 6'5", 330, 2-year starter going to Iowa State. He's just a monster of a man. Weston Rowe out of Jackson County Central, 6'7", 275, great football player, and heading to South Dakota State on scholarship. Owen Linder out of Chanhassen, 6'5", 275. He's an Iowa commit, great football player. I hear a lot of people talk about his leverage and his feet. Just a fantastic player. And then Braden Petzel out of Mankato East, 6'9", about 290. He's going to play football at Northern Illinois, but he's a basketball player too. But outstanding football player, a 4-year starter for Mankato West. So that is the TalkNorth 2025 All-State offensive line. Your thoughts?
Freaky group here, Randy. You mentioned foot speed, leverage a little bit. 4 of these guys are projected offensive tackle prospects in college, Beckman being the lone potential guard. That means these guys are athletic for their size.
Yep.
Good feet, balance.
Especially at the D1 level.
Exactly. Yep. You mentioned that Trout didn't give up a sack this year. That's not surprising. I think it's also safe to mention that you broke the news last year that he was going to miss the entire 2024 season. 6 pancake blocks and no sacks this year coming off a major injury. That's a big deal. I think Gopher fans should be excited about this kid. He's also one of the biggest people I've ever seen live and in person. He is huge.
We've had him in studio, and he is a monster of a young man. All right, that's the offensive line. Let's move on to the running backs. And we have 4 of them this year. We're going to start with James Engel out of Maple Grove, who had an outstanding year after kind of being overlooked during the preseason conversation. 1,800 yards rushing and 26 touchdowns. Caleb Francois, I think, leads this group out of Minnetonka, 6'1", 190, Iowa State recruit, commit, 1,800 yards and 28 touchdowns. Martin Sleen, the junior running back out of Hermantown, over 1,900 yards rushing and 29 touchdowns. And Nick Tyne out of Pine Island, who had a monster season for Pine Island, averaged 180 yards rushing per game with 28 touchdowns. That is our running back group for this year. I could easily add other players to this group. There's some other outstanding running backs, but these 4 kind of stood out.
I agree, Randy. Tyne and Engel are 2 of the better stories of the 2025 season. Engel was a backup last year. Maple Grove was so loaded in their undefeated state title run that he had to get in basically as a slot receiver when he could. However, Maple Grove saw the transfer of their running back one, Patrick Wright, to Philadelphia before the season, and Engel stepped up and made that position his own. He had one of the best seasons of any running back in the state and easily deserves this nod. And I also want to give Minnesota fans a head up about Martin Sleen. I think he might be the best running back prospect we've seen in a long time. He is very fast. 10.76 speed is nearly elite. That was as a sophomore. I am scared for defenses next year to try to stop this kid. And Hermantown has a lot of size that they're bringing back, so I wouldn't be surprised if we hear a lot more about him this offseason.
All right, that's the running back group. Let's move on to receiver, because this was a kind of a difficult position. There's no doubt David Mack is by far the number 1 receiver in the state of Minnesota. At the time that we're taping this segment, 106 catches through 11 games, 1,437 yards and 24 touchdowns. And that's with his starting quarterback, Jet Feeney, missing 5 games. That is absolutely insane numbers. Easily, I could have named just 1 receiver, but Cade Bush at tight end for Chanhassen, I think deserves it. He's had like 10 touchdown catches this year, 55 catches overall. He does so many things for Chan. He's not just a receiver. He runs the ball. He blocks well. Changed his commitment from Arkansas to West Virginia. Those are the 2 receivers on our all-state football team this year.
Mack is the best route runner we have in the state.
And he's a junior, by the way.
And he's only a junior, one of 3, I think, you named to the TalkNorth All-State team. As you mentioned, Mack's production while Feeney was hurt was unbelievable. Yes, Moorhead had a good backup QB come in, but they would not be in the state semifinals without Mack basically putting the team on his shoulders and getting open every play possible. Bush is one of the most dynamic 6'5", 220-pounders you're going to see. He's taken snaps as a Wildcat QB, running back. He'll play a little bit of defense. He'll go inline tight end. He'll split out wide. He is everywhere, and he is fun to watch with the ball in his hand. I would not want to get in the way of him as Chanhassen looks to win the 5A state title.
I think that Jet Feeney and Mac have this just unspoken, and they're such good friends, but this unspoken way of playing that, and Mac, honestly, I think Oliver does his best work at the underthrows and then takes it and run. Truly, I don't think he's burning people down the field with long passes. It's the underthrows and then taking off and using his legs.
You're absolutely right, Randy. And I think it's also worth mentioning that kind of game translates really well to the college level. A lot of guys are fast. We've seen fast guys not produce at the college level. Getting open and doing things after the catch with the ball in the hand is what's going to translate to college production. And I think Mac has all those pieces. I also think West Virginia fans should be excited about Bush. He's a fun tight end from a state that produces a lot of really talented tight ends.
Okay, let's move on to the quarterback position. And I named two this year. Logan Lockermeyer out of Minneapolis North, 42 touchdown passes, 72% passer. North qualifies for the state 3A semifinals this year. Just an outstanding football player. Makes all the throws. And then the other one to me is the perfect game manager / outstanding athlete in Nathan Ramler. When I've talked to Cullen Nelson about Ramler, he tells me the stories of Ramler coming out to the field 2 hours before a game and walking up and down the field, visualizing what they're going to do offensively in that game, upcoming game. 26 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions to this point in the season. Easily could have chosen some other quarterbacks. There's some very good quarterbacks out there this year, but these two kind of stood out for kind of two different reasons in a way.
Sure. Randy, I think you made the right choices here. Both these guys are accurate and they're safe with the football. Additionally, Rambler is nothing but a winner. This is his second year in a row as a starter. Both times he's led Chanhassen to the bank. Lockermeyer, son of a coach, we also mentioned. He's the son of North's OC.
Yep.
He has cut down tremendously on his touchdown to interception ratio. He's being a lot safer with the football. He's distributing really well. And he's probably the single biggest reason why Minneapolis North has a state title berth this year.
Doesn't hurt that he's got great receivers in Jamarian Sanders and DeLine, because those two guys, and there's others on that North team too.
I wouldn't want to cover any of those guys one-on-one, much less 4 or 5 of them. I also think it's worth mentioning that Lockermeyer, his only offer right now is from St. Olaf College, my alma mater. Logan, we would love to have you in Northfield. Let's talk NIL. I'm not the richest, but whatever you need, man.
All right. Final position is athlete. And leading that group is Roman Voss out of Jackson County Central. Clearly the state's #1 football recruit, verbally committed to the University of Minnesota, likely will play tight end in his college career. I also put Carson Heimer in this group. He only played 7-8 games this year because of injury for Byron. But when he played, Byron was the best team in Class 4A. Rushed for over 1,300 yards and 18 touchdowns. His coach came on a show that I was on and didn't talk about his offense. He talked about his defense and how his defense played such an important role for them this season. So Roman Voss and Carson Heimer are the final 2 pieces to the 2025 All-State football team.
Quickly on Heimer before we go to Roman Voss. 10.8 speed on the track. He's one of the fastest players in the state, and he's going to Mankato to play nickel. So it makes sense that defense seems to be his bread and butter, and it was very unfortunate to see him get hurt in week 7. I think that really hurt Byron's chances to go deep into the playoffs. For sure. You know, there's a lot that's been said about Roman Voss that I don't think there's anything new we can say. This kid's a freak. Chose the Gophers over Alabama. He passed 1,000 points on the hard court as a sophomore. So another traditional Minnesota multi-sporter that we're seeing go on to succeed at the next level. He's broken just about every stat at Jackson County Central's record books this year. He just scored.
Some of those stats are his brothers.
Most are his brothers. He just ran for 5 TDs in their quarterfinal win over Caledonia, who have some very big boys on defense. This kid is unstoppable, and I just can't see anyone getting in the way of him and JCC this year. It's also worth mentioning that he missed Jackson County Central's playoff run last year. Yeah, I believe he got hurt in the state quarters.
That night he broke his ankle.
Yep, against Norwood.
Yep.
So he's going to be hungry, and he is itching for this chance to be out there on the turf at US Bank Stadium. So get out of his way.
Congratulations to the 30 players that we named this year for the TalkNorth All-State football team. My thanks to Oliver for being here. Before I let you go, let's look ahead. Talk about the 2027 class of high school football players in Minnesota. Just some general thoughts about what you see.
Sure. So we've had a little bit of attrition. DeJon Yarbrough left for Arizona. There's a little bit of a vacuum in terms of O-linemen. So I think this offseason there's going to be a lot of new names coming to the table. Minnesota is one of the hardest recruited states for offensive linemen. And right now there's a lacking of big bodies. I know they're out there. College coaches are out there trying to find you, make yourself known. It should be a fun year for recruiting.
Where can people find Prep Redzone? How can they subscribe?
Prep Redzone is on Twitter. We are on Instagram. You can read our articles at prepredzone.com. If you ever need a discount code for subscribing, you can email me at oliver@prepredzone.com. I'm always available to chat, and I love talking ball. Thank you so much for having me on, Randy.
I appreciate you doing this. Hey, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. 10K Construction is your one stop for all your general contracting needs, whether interior, exterior, residential, commercial, or multifamily properties. They build relationships with their clients, and that's how they've grown their business through referrals. Plus, they are teaming up with LP SmartSide to become Minnesota's premier siding installer. And they're also partnering with IKO Shingles as well. They've got the best of the best to do the job right. 10K Construction covers both Minnesota and Wisconsin. Now, the rumor is they charge a little extra because it's Packer land. I'm not sure about that. But what I am sure about, 10K Construction is the company you want handling all of your general contracting needs. Go to 10kconstruction.com for details. I was visiting with my friends at Truestone Financial the other day. They're a warm and welcoming group. They're known as the Neighborhood Credit Union, and I can't think of a better way to describe them. When I'm at Truestone, I feel like I'm chatting with my neighbors. Combine that personality with a full menu of services and a lot of financial expertise, and you have a winning combination. Whether I need a checking account, a car loan, or even a mortgage, I know I'm going to work with some very smart, friendly people. With 23 locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, you're not far from a Truestone neighborhood. Visit a branch near you or learn more at truestone.org. Truestone is an equal housing opportunity lender. So here are the Prep Bowl matchups for this week. On Friday morning at 10 a.m., the Class 1A state title game, 3-time defending champion Minnesota versus Breckenridge. Minnesota riding a 45-game winning streak. That game again at 10 a.m. Then at 1 o'clock on Friday, it's the Class 4A championship as Orono takes on Casson Manorville. Then on Friday at 4 o'clock, the Class 2A title game, Roman Voss and Jackson County Central will battle Goodhue. And the nightcap, the state Class 6A championship game between 2, 8, and 4 teams. Incredible. Moorhead, a 6 seed, Edina, a 4 seed, will battle for the state title. And that means the ultimate quarterback matchup. Jet Feeney of Moorhead versus Mason West of Edina. What a great battle on Friday night. Then on Saturday, starting at 10 a.m., the 9-player state championship game between unbeaten's Hillcrest Lutheran Academy and Hills Beaver Creek. Then at 1 o'clock, the Class 3A championship, Annandale takes on Waseca. Both teams come in undefeated. And the final game of the Prep Bowl weekend is for the Class 5A championship. Surprising and unbeaten Spring Lake Park will take on Chanhassen. The Shaver Prep Football Podcast drops every Monday on YouTube and where podcasts can be found, and I have one show left on November 24th. My thanks to producer Alex Haugen and the great folks here at Talk North. Thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you one more time next week.